We've all been there. You're on a third date, the chemistry is electric, but the menu is terrifying. You're doing mental math gymnastics, calculating if ordering the sea bass means you'll have to skip your electric bill or just survive on ramen for the next 10 days. You smile, you nod, and you order the second cheapest wine, praying they don't suggest a round of $18 cocktails afterward. This is dinner date anxiety. It is the silent killer of modern romance. For years, we were told to fake it till you make it. In 2024, we were obsessed with quiet luxury, the art of looking rich without trying. But it was a lie. It was a performance that left our bank accounts hollow and our relationships built on a foundation of performative wealth. Welcome to 2026. The facade has cracked. We are officially in the era of loud budgeting. It's the revolutionary act of saying, I can't do that dinner, not because I don't have the money, but because I'm hitting my savings goal for a house. Today, we're doing a deep dive into why financial transparency is the ultimate intimacy hack. We're going to prove that showing someone your budget is actually more vulnerable and more erotic than showing them your bedroom. Because if you want to know if a relationship will last 30 years, don't look at the ring, look at the spreadsheet. But why is talking about a bank balance harder than talking about trauma? Let's look at the dark psychology of the money taboo. Why is money the last great taboo? We will talk about our therapy sessions, our political leanings, and our darkest secrets before we admit we have $15,000 in credit card debt. In psychology, money is often tied directly to our self-worth. To have less is perceived as being less. When we hide our financial reality from a partner, we aren't just protecting our ego, we are engaging in financial infidelity. This isn't just a metaphor. Neuropsychological studies show that the act of hiding a purchase or lying about a price triggers the same regions of the brain, the amygdala and the anterior cingulate cortex, as emotional or physical cheating. It creates a secret life that prevents true limbic resonance between partners. To build real intimacy, you need vulnerability loops. If you're constantly pretending you can afford a lifestyle you can't, you're denying your partner the chance to support the real you. You are essentially falling in love with a curated version of a person's credit limit. This shame creates a shiver in the relationship. You become irritable when the bill comes. You pull away when they suggest a vacation. They think you're losing interest in them, when in reality, you're just terrified of your debt-to-income ratio. So if shame is the poison, is loud budgeting the cure? Or is it just a polite way of being cheap? Let's define our terms. Loud budgeting is a vocal boundary-setting tool. It is the refusal to participate in social climbing at the expense of your financial health. The psychological distinction here is the locus of control. An external locus of control sounds like, I can't go because I'm broke, which implies the world is happening to you. An internal locus of control sounds like, I'm not spending money on that right now because I'm prioritizing my travel fund, which implies you are in control of your world. When you loud budget, you aren't complaining about a lack of resources. You are asserting your intentionality. You are signaling to a potential partner that you have a future self-orientation. You aren't a slave to the immediate gratification of a flashy dinner. You are an architect of your own stability. In the dating market, this is a massive high-value signal. It screams, I am disciplined, I am honest, and I am not easily swayed by peer pressure. But does this actually work in the real world of dating? Or are people still just looking for a sugar daddy? The data might surprise you. In 2026, the definition of sexy has fundamentally shifted. We've moved from status seeking to security seeking. Why? Because Gen Z and millennials have lived through enough once-in-a-generation economic collapses To realize that a leased Lamborghini is a liability, not an asset. Psychologically, we are seeing a rise in financial anxiety disorder, and the only aphrodisiac for that anxiety is predictability. A partner who talks about their 401k or their high-yield savings account is providing something far more addictive than a fancy date: dopamine from safety. When we see someone planning for a 30-year goal, our brains register them as a K-selected partner, someone invested in long-term stability and offspring, or at least long-term cohabitation. We are wired to find competence attractive. Loud budgeting is a demonstration of financial competence. It proves that you have the executive function to manage a complex system. Fine, it's sexy in theory, but how do you actually say it without sounding like a buzzkill? Let's get into the actual scripts. The most dangerous moment in a new relationship is the invite. They suggest a concert that costs $150. You have $40 in your fun money envelope. Here's how you handle it. Don't say, "I can't afford that, I'm too poor." This triggers pity. Instead, do say, "That sounds like an amazing show, but I've actually hit my entertainment cap for this month. I'm being really strict with my house down payment fund right now. Could we do a park picnic and a sunset hike instead?" The psychology here is that you have reframed "I can't" into "I'm choosing." You've also shared a goal, which invites them into your future. Consider the scenario where you are picking a place for dinner. You might say, "I'm currently in a loud budgeting phase because I'm aggressive about my student loans. I'd love to see you. Should we find a hidden gem taco spot under $20? Or do you want to come over and we can try a chopped challenge with whatever is in my pantry?" This is the collaborative date method. It turns a financial constraint into a creative challenge. It tests their adaptability, a key trait for long-term relationship success. Performative dating is defined by stressful surprise bills and the constant fear of being found out. It results in a shallow connection. Transparent dating, or loud budgeting, is defined by agreed-upon spending limits and the freedom to be authentic. It leads to deep, goal-oriented intimacy. But what if they react badly? What if they call you cheap? That's actually the best thing that could happen. And here's why. If you loud budget and your partner rolls their eyes or pressures you to spend, you haven't failed. You've just performed a highly efficient compatibility stress test. We all have a money blueprint, a psychological map formed in childhood about what money means. For some, they are status-obsessed, meaning money is for showing worth. For others, they are security-obsessed, meaning money is for safety. If you are security-obsessed and they are status-obsessed, you will experience chronic psychological friction. You will feel they are reckless. They will feel you are controlling. By being loud about your budget early on, you identify these mismatched blueprints before you've signed a lease or shared a bank account. A partner who respects your no regarding money is a partner who will respect your no in the bedroom and in life. Financial honesty isn't about numbers. It's about integrity. It's about ensuring that the person sitting across from you actually knows you, not just your credit score. When you practice loud budgeting, you aren't just saving money, you're building a stress-proof relationship. You're weeding out the people who love the show and keeping the people who love the soul. When we look at the evolution of intimacy, we see that the 20th century was about social climbing. The 21st century started with the illusion of unlimited credit. But 2026 is about the grounding reality of shared goals. Think about the physical response to a partner saying, "I have a plan for us." It lowers cortisol. It creates a sense of belonging. We often mistake the high of a $500 dinner for romance, but that's just a spike in adrenaline. Real romance is the steady, calm hum of knowing your partner isn't going to collapse under the weight of an unexpected car repair or a job loss because you've both been honest about your buffers. This transparency also eliminates the power imbalance that often haunts modern dating. If one person always pays to maintain a certain lifestyle, a dynamic of debt is created, not just financial, but emotional. The person paying feels a sense of ownership. The person receiving feels a sense of obligation. Loud budgeting levels the playing field. It says, we are meeting here as equals, regardless of our balances, because we are being honest about our boundaries. It moves the relationship from a transaction to a partnership. I want to challenge you to look at your last 3 dates. Were they performances or were they connections? If you find yourself holding your breath when the check arrives, you are living in a fiction. And fiction is a terrible place to build a home. You deserve a love that doesn't require a credit check to maintain. You deserve a partner who thinks your high-yield savings account is as interesting as your playlist. Let's talk about the long-term biological impact of this honesty. When we live in a state of financial secrecy, our bodies are in a constant fight-or-flight mode. We are hypervigilant, waiting for the lie to be exposed. This chronic stress prevents the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. You cannot truly bond with someone while you are in a state of survival. By loud budgeting, you move your nervous system into a state of social engagement. You are safe. Your partner is safe. The relationship is safe. This is why financial honesty is quite literally sexier than a grand gesture. A grand gesture is a moment. A budget is a lifetime. Now it's time for the actionable challenge. This week, I want you to go on a $0 date. No coffee, no tickets, no parking fees. Get creative. Go to a public library and find the weirdest book you can. Take a long walk in a neighborhood you've never visited and narrate the lives of the people who live there. Or have a vision board night, where you sit down with old magazines or a digital board and talk about where you want to be in 5 years. Don't just talk about the what, talk about the how. Talk about the cost. Talk about the sacrifice. Watch how your partner reacts. Do they engage? Do they offer their own boundaries? Or do they seem bored by the lack of a price tag? This is your litmus test. This is how you find your person in 2026. Report back in the comments and tell me how it went. Did it feel awkward? Did it feel liberating? How did it feel to take the price tag off your connection? If you want to master the psychology of modern love and build a life that's actually as good as it looks on the outside, hit that subscribe button. We do deep dives like this every single day, exploring the intersection of how we think, how we spend, and how we love. Remember, a budget is just a plan for your dreams. Don't be afraid to say it out loud. As we wrap up, think about this. The most expensive thing you can ever own is a life you can't afford. And the most expensive relationship you can ever be in is one where you have to buy your partner's interest. Break the cycle. Be loud. Be honest. Be intentional. We'll see you in the next deep dive.